About 20 years ago we bought this house in a lovely rural area, and it was designed for our retirement really. But of course it didn't work out that way.
12 years ago, Tony Gaskell and his wife Leslie took over the care and upbringing of their daughter's children when she could no longer cope. Daniel was 5 and Joseph was 6.
What were your priorities then in making sure that they had peace of mind as they grew up?
Telling them how much I loved them. That was the main priority. Children love to be told how much you love them. They love to be loved.
And in those early days, of course, it was both you and your wife who were coping, but that didn't last for long, did it?
No, unfortunately, Leslie died from lung cancer, and I was left then on my own with the 2 boys. The grief was like a ton weight on my head for years.
And you were having to deal with that pain of bereavement while 2 sets of little eyes were looking at you for reassurance that they were okay.
Absolutely. When you hear a piece of music and something that reminds you, you've got to turn your back on them, because you've got to not let my grief overflow onto their lives. They've got enough to handle with growing up, haven't they?
And all the time you were dealing with everything on your own?
Everything. I'm a dreadful cook. I've even been to lessons to try and I still can't do it, still hopeless. But you get on with it. It just happens. I had to go to parents' evenings, and I found it ultra hard. I really did. And I had to learn how to do it. Because if Joseph says, "What do you think about this, Grandad?" I can't say, "Well, I don't know how to do it." You've got to try and get through it for him, as a father would.
Where do you go when you want to talk things over?
I belong to a local church. It's very peaceful there. I think prayer comes in a million different ways. A prayer can be, thank you just for something that happens in my day. And that's my source of prayer.
Wouldn't it have been nice if your wife were here to share all this with you?
I talk to my wife. Now, I believe she's listening to me. She can hear me. Do you know what I would like most of all? Is to hear her opinion, what she thinks of them now. Because they are 2 fabulous boys. They really are. I'm not just saying that, they are.
She was definitely the ideal grandma. We'd play games and she'd teach us how to bandage up our teddy bears properly, and then always on a Sunday morning she'd take us to church. When she was in her 20s, she trained as a nurse and a midwife with an order of nuns, and I remember when my mum told me that she was writing a book about it, I was about 10, and I really wanted to read it, but my mum said it was far too graphic and not for a 10-year-old, so I had to wait for a little while.
That book and its sequels are now phenomenal bestsellers, and Eleanor's grandma, Jennifer Worth, has been immortalised in the popular BBC series Call the Midwife.
It's been incredible to watch it progress from this very privately published book to suddenly this huge piece of writing that everyone is wanting to read, and whenever you hear people saying, "Oh, did you watch Call the Midwife?" I'm like, yes, of course I did.
I ate at least 4 slices of that cake, and I didn't realise I was coming to a convent.
It's been a really nice tribute to her. She died just before they started filming for it, but she was, right up until the end, she was very involved with the casting and the script writing and stuff.
Do you have a faith, Nurse Lee?
Not really. I'm Church of England.
Oh, we're Anglican too.
I think she would have definitely been proud of what they've made of it, but she was very practical and she didn't like to make a fuss over anything, and she probably would have thought that this would have been all very over the top and very unnecessary and all of that, but I think she would have really appreciated it.
Well, your grandma's story has made a very big impression on you.
Definitely. I knew I always wanted to go into care work ever since I was little, but I've definitely decided that I want to do midwifery, and I've applied to do midwifery at university. I think it's just an amazing thing to do, and I'm so jealous of my grandma that she got to do that for so long and that she loved it so much.
She was certainly remarkable in life, but also remarkable as she faced death.
When she was diagnosed with cancer, it was such a shock, and I think she was the one that helped us through it the most. As she became more, it was definitely more apparent how important her faith was to her. I mean, she always had a cross and a Bible next to her bed. Right until the very end, if we had a big solo or something, she'd always come and be in the front pew watching us. Going to church now, it keeps her alive as well.